can do everything. So that's really good to see. So what we are going to do on these morning sessions is just to give you just a clear direction. What is the expectation of the day, relating it to what happened like yesterday, as well as also what is just what to come, and also what are the kind of tasks you will have. And in the meantime, we will also just take a few a few of you, just to speak on like for 2 minutes. It's the same as like what we will have, for example, in a company. There will be a stand-up session where just like you will answer 3 specific questions. What have you done? What you want to do, like today, for example, and the next. And then what are roadblocks that you have? Like what are the things that you don't understand, the confusions? So just basically you try to address these 3 questions such that other people are familiar, other people just benefit from what you're doing, and what you plan to do, and the confusion. So we learn from each other. So that's called, in an agile system or in a Scrum methodology, just a stand-up. Every morning, just every worker has to just state these 3 things such that everyone knows, what the other person has accomplished, such that they can ask them if they have similar issues, and they will know what they are doing. So if they are working on similar things, they will ask them again. And also if they have some other issues, which probably are common issues, then people just the spirit of having communication. Umar, if you could mute yourself. Great, thanks. Okay, so at the end, I will select. I was going to just trying to randomly select people just from Slack, and probably trying to get a few names from all the regions. But I may be not doing the right justice, but we will have another similar sessions also later, just before the tutorial. So you will have a chance to say similar questions. We can't expect everyone to say, to kind of do the stand-up, because it will take a lot of times. So try to take just maximum 2 minutes. And if you can do it as quick as possible, that's great. Just the spirit of stand-up is just open up, to kind of have maximal communication. Okay, so with that, I will start what will happen today. So what will happen today is that, so you have you have been setting up your environment, your Python environment. Some of you probably are working in Colab. Some of you already have your own Python environment in your computer, so you can just run Jupyter Notebooks, right? So we assume that. And if you have any questions, the person to talk to, other than also your colleagues who are answering a lot of questions, so which is like, you can always ask it in Slack, but Ja will be your guy. So he will say later about like, just whatever questions regarding to that, you will talk to him or just write to him. And then, so you had also a session with me on Twitter challenge. So the Twitter challenge, I know it has been kind of a glitch, in a sense that you couldn't get the developer account and you couldn't run. And it's also, like, let me be honest, it's I started with the most challenging thing, just so that you don't get, if you have been coming from, it's like doing some kind of analysis, and you feel like, oh, data science is like that. I want to just set up like the kind of the view that is not. So it's kind of almost always we deal with these kind of things. We don't arrive to machine learning running cool stuff or deep learning to make value or to get insight. We really just had to be sometimes a data engineer, sometimes solve completely unrelated problems, which is like getting account somewhere. And sometimes, like, the salesperson, probably if you are working, they just have no idea, they don't respond to you. So these are the kind of real challenges that you will have. Don't get disappointed, just keep going. And that's why I provided the 1000 rows data. So that's basically bypassing it, right? So what do you have to do? Like, from my experience, if I were you, what would I do? Okay, great, there's data. What was supposed to be the developer account? It's to get data. Now I am given data. Okay, so then I just have to comment some of the code, which connects with Twitter, and instead use this data as just my source of data. So that means I basically will just circumvent and go into the analysis just, without being while waiting for the developer account. If you still don't understand what I'm saying, it's perfectly fine, but you will ask. Like if you have questions, or if you have in the stand-up, like some of you will have a chance now to say, just say what is your confusion, just so that other people can understand what you don't understand, and I will also understand what you don't understand, so that I can provide at least a specific guide on that one. So just I will repeat it, just in the Twitter challenge, what I expect you is that, of course, if you had a developer account, you will basically get the lines that in the code which says like authentication. There is just, if you have seen the Twitter key, secret, token key, and token secret, you should have replaced that one, or you should have provided that one, and then basically the code runs, especially the second code runs. The first code, it's a mess. You have to fix it. The second code definitely runs, and you will get data. So it's also specified in the Jupyter Notebook, right? So now that's not the case. So I provided you some data. You could go to the sales where it actually start analyzing by reading this data. You could just start from there, and you will not have any issue. Just as if nothing happened, right? So that's the case. And regarding the other, so today, so this is about yesterday, and you will continue working on that one. And about today we will have a review session on by Sebastian on pandas and the kind of essential methods in pandas that we use, and which definitely you're going to use in the Twitter challenge as well, or in any data analysis. And what are the essential methods and how we use them for what purpose. So he will just give a review later, like at noon German time, Rwandan time, and with respect time for each of the countries. And then we will have also a session on GitHub in the afternoon with me. So that one is, again, I will ask you a very similar, the same Twitter challenge you have been doing, like you will use it now. So I will show you how to, if you don't have an account, GitHub account, open GitHub account. Just that simple. Just go and register and have Git. Okay. And then there will be a guide. So there is a Jupyter Notebook again, which guides you what to do to, for example, create your first, to fork your first repository from the 10 Academy repository and do, so there's a very clear guideline what to do. So we'll go through that tutorial. Basically, it's more of like practice, just like you will just fork something, then you will add, you will edit something, and you will commit it to the Git repository, and then you will ask a Git pull, basically to say like, I'm contributing to your repository, can you pull my code? So it's kind of called Git pull. And then for the Twitter challenge, or for the Twitter mining Python notebook, you can also open an issue to say like, I found this error. So whatever error you find, you can just open and Git an issue, and then you can also submit again, you can contribute a fix. So it basically means just like you again contribute in a similar way. Everything is guideline there. In the tutorial, I will go in more depth. If you have a question, I will allow a couple of people to ask right in this, in the just a video session, so that it gets clear. Okay, so with that, that is the today what will happen, and the quiz exactly what you did yesterday. It will happen in the afternoon. So you'll be we will distribute it to you. Now I will hand it over to Arun, and then later we can go for the stand-up session.
Okay, hi everyone. So a couple of points more on the admin side from me. So I think there's been some comments that Slack is really busy and it's hard to find information. And some people have asked if we can make Slack or a channel on Slack, which is read-only, where information can be posted. I think we've done that through the website, because the website is your point of reference. And as we've said before, and I'll say it again, all the information, all the links, all announcements will be made there, and the website is read-only. And Slack, we want to leave it free and open so that there can be discussion. It's really nice to see, as Yevabel said, that there's a lot of people providing information, asking questions, answering questions. All of those things are good. But I think that there is, sometimes if people don't know, sometimes people ask instead of checking the point of reference, and that can make things confusing. So I think it would be efficient to use this website, which is, I mean, it's a website in the simplest form of the word, because it's a really basic website, but the information is there. So please use the website to ask any questions. And if Slack is getting busy, then unfortunately that's just how it is. It is one of the challenges that in the working world or the real world, finding information is not necessarily a problem. Finding the right information is in a sea of information is often important, and that's what you need to do. So it is what it is. The website is the place where, if there are any announcements to be made, that's the place to go. The second point I wanted to make was on due dates of assignments. So to reiterate, quizzes are released, one quiz per day is released at 5:30 p.m. Rwanda time, and it's due before midnight Rwanda time. So quiz 1 was released and it's been submitted. It's now closed. Quiz 2 will be released today. Quiz 3 Wednesday, quiz 4 on Thursday, and the machine learning experts among you will be able to predict that quiz 5 will be released on Friday and will be due on Friday. There's a pattern. That's a joke, because it's not, you don't need machine learning to do that. It's a little joke. Anyhow, the the second point I wanted to make was on these challenge assignments. 2 of them have been released already, and those are both due tomorrow at 10 a.m. Rwanda time. In the next 30 minutes, Oswald will be posting our submission mechanism. So you're going to log on to a site very similar to what the application looked like, enter the email address that you used to apply, and upload the files. So that's the submission mechanism and the due dates. Just to reiterate, 1 quiz per day released at 5:30 p.m. Rwanda time, due before midnight Rwanda time. First 2 assignments are due Wednesday, that's tomorrow morning, before 10 a.m. Rwanda time. And challenge assignments 3 and 4 will be due Friday before 10 a.m. Rwanda time. What we wanted to do is to give you enough space so that the minimum can be done, but for those of you who are interested, you can go a lot further. And if you want to add as much as you want to add to it, please go ahead and do that. The third point that I wanted to make, I'm just checking my notes here. Yeah, so I think I've covered all the points. The submission system is coming up in the next half hour. So just to reiterate what Yevabel said as well, so Jean is your point of reference for any questions on assignments 1 or 2. So please, somebody's not muted. So please don't forget that. And the second, there's Jean.
Yes.
Hey, Jean.
Yeah, I'm there. So hey guys,
if you have any questions, there's Jean. He has very bright headphones, so you can't miss.
Yes,
can't miss the headphones.
I'm happy to see you there today with with energy. And about the task, guys, I saw you guys very active on the task since yesterday. I saw some people sharing very good resources on the introduction to Jupyter Notebook, and I also saw some people dealing with the Twitter Manning Challenge. So what I will say is just I will be there in the Slack channel. If you have questions, since yesterday I was assisting you. If you have questions, you just have to answer, and I come with some response. And so if you don't know, we are going to check on the internet, so we are going to share the resources. So don't worry about that. I know Yabi provide the JSON file, and some question was about how to actually read the JSON file and so. And you have everything open in Google. I will also I'm also making some search. If I get something interesting, you ask and I share with you. So this is not a problem. Forget about the development account. If you cannot have access for today, simply use the JSON file. Now you have to focus on how to read a JSON file and how to make the format in the good format type for your analysis in the tutorial. So this is all. I will be there all the day to support you. And I'm happy also with the quiz. I distributed yesterday. I get a lot of response, and we are going to do the same thing for today.
All right.
Great. So should we go to the stand-up session then?
Yes, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think just for the sake of